I just wanted to ask something that I've been wondering the whole time that we've been installing side by side this week. I would love to hear you guys talk about specific things that you saw in the Everglades that are represented in your installation. I mean, I think I could sort of pick out things on my own, but I just would love to hear you guys describe them.
Well, I think we always feel, and maybe this is just our own fear or whatever, but I think we always try to avoid sort of literal, kind of literal connections. Or lately we've been trying to disconnect ourselves from a kind of literal interpretation or a rendering, because it really frees us up to create something kind of like a big giant green monster. And so the way that we've approached the research time at AIRIE is in the Everglades is to kind of absorb everything that's there. And there, I don't know if anybody's been there, but I guess that's kind of why we also chose this particular subject matter, because we thought it was the most obvious thing. Like, it's the Everglades. It's Miami's like, it's essentially in the Everglades, Farmerville is in the Everglades, and probably a lot of people in Miami probably don't know what the Everglades look like, or have an image of the Everglades that might not be true. And so we went there with that same thing. We have images from TV, gator killers or whatever, those types of shows. And, so that's what we think the Everglades looks like, and man, it really does. But the access is very limited.
Right. So again, there's lots of camps for making art. You can go to the Everglades and set up your easel and make an exact depiction of what you see, or you can go spend time and go back to the studio and try to make an abstraction of what you thought was really important. And think of us as being way over on the edge of the spectrum towards abstraction. So there's no literal rendering of the Everglades here, but there are things that we wanted to go to the Everglades to stretch our studio practice away from where we've been. And so you're looking at a completely, you go to the Everglades and you'll be surprised if you see a 2-foot variation in vertical. What's the name of that pass? It was like some pass, 3 feet. Rock Reef Pass, 3 feet above sea level. And that's it. And so you look at our work, we always go floor to ceiling, we go wall to wall. And if we're going to push ourselves, we need to get the floor piece. Even still, we had to get off the floor. It's like that. That's just like, that's the breath that we need in our artwork to make it feel alive. So once we got in here, the Everglades was back there, and this is an art space, and we need to make an artwork. And we were only responsible to making the artwork happen. If that makes sense.
It's like the after image you were talking about.
After image, yeah. Or one of the things that we have in common, we have very different interests, but Marisa Merleau-Ponty, it's the idea of the art experience is a bracket, a parenthetical experience. Coming off the street, you have this experience, and you go back to the street, and there has to be a flip, or the artwork's not successful. If there hasn't been something about the experience of the artwork that changes the way you receive what's back out there, then we haven't done our jobs.
And we started thinking of that as a kind of drawing. Like drawings, are typically done. You might think of it as drawn with graphite, and you always have the chance opportunity to erase it. If you have an eraser. So that's kind of how we're starting to think about these projects. It ends up being a better project for us because we're able to sort of rework the paper rather than committing to a form and simply making a kind of skin.
Yeah, so it's that process of the give and take that really gives us energy in the collaborative process, where Stephen could put up a line and I could take it down, and we can go back and forth talking about what was important about what we saw out there, because this was in reference to this. They were doing a historical show in this space about the Shoshone Falls, which is like the Niagara Falls of the West in Idaho. And so they wanted to curate a contemporary project to be next to it, or with it, concurrent with it. And so it became this process of drawing. We're like, this is really what we value about collaborating. And so that has led to a project like this, which we're quite literally calling Drawn from the Everglades.
Right.
So we spent, Stephen spent 2 weeks, I spent a week at the AIRIE's residency. Thank you, AIRIE's, very much. We were in the Everglades, and we spent a lot of time looking, a lot of time talking, a lot of time experimenting in the studio. And when we got here, even though this project was really only 4 or 5 days in execution, we've gotten to a point where we're really happy with it.
A question. Have you ever considered using multiple colors of paper?
That's a good question.
Yeah, first time here. You know, if you look at our work, it's like super conservative when it comes to
Yeah.
color. And we're like black, white, gray kind of guys, and
We're scared.
yeah, we're scared.
So this
yeah.
is your first time with
This is-
multiple green?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a huge risk.
And it's still the same color.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but this was a huge risk for us. We had no idea if working with 3 different shades of green was going to work or not, but we're really happy with it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think there are a number of things in this particular project that have opened up new avenues for us, and that's really what we've been working together for 8 years, and we want to keep the projects new and something different. We're considering all kinds of things. We brainstorm with architects and choreographers and other groups of people to try to come up with new ways to create it.
Yeah, artists get in ruts too. It's like you get really comfortable, and I think a lot, especially if you get a little bit of attention for what you're doing, it's really hard to break free and take those risks. So it's important that there are spaces like Locust that support projects like this.